Hello, happy Monday, and welcome to Doug Has Too Many Hobbies After Dark. It's Valentine's week, so we need to make a love-inspired ice cream. So this video is actually inspired by our friend Odd Scoops. I will link his channel up above. And what I'm going to do today is make an ice cream that sort of fits what I'm looking for in a partner, in marriage, ultimately. And so we're going to start with 1 cup of whole milk and 1 cup of heavy cream. The whole milk representing wholesomeness, and the heavy cream representing purity of heart. 2/3 of a cup of sugar to represent sweetness. And just over low to medium heat, we want to bring that up to where it's just starting to steam, maybe a bare simmer. That is steaming. One of the flavors that we're going to use in this ice cream is cherries. So I have roasted some cherries. These are the cherry pits, if you'll recall from our roasted cherry ice cream. If we steep these in our milk mixture, we get a little bit more of a cherry flavor. And we will just steep that for about 10 minutes. And of course we're using cherries here because that's one of those fruits that's pretty much synonymous with love. And that's why I decided to go ahead and include those. 10 minutes in, I'm going to go ahead and add our next flavor. These are 4 bags of Earl Grey. Earl Grey is what we would in the Western world call a black tea. In China it would be it's red tea. But Earl Grey is tea from the Assam Valley, and it's very earthy, and so I mean that to symbolize being down to earth. But it also is flavored with bergamot oil, which is a citrus, and being citrus, I'm considering that some zest for life. So we will let this steep for about 5 minutes. I don't want it to get too bitter, but since our temperature is not at a full boil, we should be able to avoid that. After 5 minutes, we will fish out the tea bags. You see they're kind of leaving a nice color behind. Don't want to squeeze them and extract anything that we don't want to. So we're just going to take those and move them off to the side. Let's see what kind of color. Yeah, we got a little bit of color to it. So I want to make this a custard. So I have 4 egg yolks. And one of my dreams since I was about probably 16 is when I realized it, is that I would love to be a father someday. That time is kind of running short at this point, but it could still happen, and that is something that I would love to see out of my marriage. So we will temper our egg yolks as always. Take a ladle of our milk, mix it in. We'll go ahead and do 2. I hope the whole egg yolks representing children doesn't come across too creepy. I've been trying to think of a way to phrase that, and that seemed like possibly the least creepy way to say it. Egg yolks go back in, and over low to medium heat, we're going to stir this continuously, cooking for, it's probably 2 minutes, 3 minutes, just until we get those egg yolks set into our nappe texture. I'm also going to add some vanilla bean paste. Vanilla is a strong foundational flavor, and that is also what I would like in marriage, is a strong foundation. Alright, let's see. That looks alright to me. Go ahead and kill the heat. And I have another container filled with 1 cup of heavy cream. And we will just go ahead and pour our mixture through a strainer. You know what we forgot? We forgot the salt. Salt's the kind of thing that you miss if it's not there. So we'll go ahead and add some salt. I don't know, what could that symbolize? I could symbolize missing something if it's not there, or potentially maybe an independent streak. I have a strong independent streak, so I wouldn't mind having that in a partner either, in a wife. maybe call it the kind of person who doesn't need you, but rather wants to be with you. So, and because I can, and you can't, I'm going to go ahead and take a taste here. And we'll go ahead and lid that up, and this needs to chill in the fridge at least 4 hours. Overnight is better.
Our mix is chilled and the ice creaminator is also, so we will go ahead and add this in. We'll have to come back and clean up this mess. The dasher got a little overzealous, so we'll just go ahead and get this cleaned up so that it doesn't freeze in there in the cracks. And we'll go ahead and churn this for probably 40 minutes. This looks pretty close to soft serve, so I'll start with just 3/4 of a cup of our roasted cherries and the syrup. And the other mix-in I'm going to use are salted pecans. Salted because it goes with the sweet, and my thinking here is that I'm looking for somebody whose strengths are my weaknesses and whose weaknesses are my strengths. Just as an example, I'm an introvert who really doesn't talk a lot. It's not that I don't have things to say, it's just that I'm much more of a listener. So probably having somebody who's a little more talkative would be good for me. Or I'm also a planner, like I plan everything in my head, even just immediate actions that may be coming up. And so that means I like a little bit of spontaneity. So having somebody who's somewhat spontaneous, I think would be a good thing for me. I've been, I wouldn't say pushed, but I've been encouraged into doing things spontaneously, and I have a lot of fun doing it, even though my planner brain freaks out and says, "You did plan for this." As I'm watching this churn in, I do think we could use some more pecans. So this is the other half cup that I had chopped. And I'm hesitant to add too many more cherries. I don't want any one flavor to overpower the rest. And it looks like we have a fairly good distribution of cherries. I don't know that a few more would hurt. So I'll just throw in about another 1/4 cup. And we're just going to let this churn for about 3 or 4 minutes just to make sure everything's mixed and to refreeze anything that may have melted from the pecans or the cherries not being at that temperature.
We'll go ahead and get this scooped into a container so we can put it in the freezer to freeze hard. And I've drawn a heart on the lid so that I know what it is. So into the freezer it goes. Alrighty, it's actually the same day. Hopefully this is frozen hard. You can see some cherry there. I'm not sure that I see any pecan, but we'll find it. So it is still just a touch soft, so I guess the lyrics are true. But let's see, I want to make sure that I get a bite that has cherry and pecan. So there we go, that's going to be my bite. Cherry, the pecans kind of blend in, but they're there, trust me. This is very good. I was prepared to say if it did not turn out well, that apparently I don't know what I actually like. None of the flavors are overwhelming. The Earl Grey and the vanilla are a nice, subtle base layer. There's a lot of good crunch from those pecans. The cherries could maybe have been quartered instead of cutting them in half, because some of them are rather large chunks. But even though they're large chunks and mostly water, none of them are frozen hard like an ice cube, and the roasting probably did a lot of that for us in driving out some of that water. The flavors all combine really well, and it makes for sort of a complex flavor profile, which I guess makes sense because love is complex. But this is actually really good. Like I said, I was prepared. I was prepared for good. I was also prepared for not so great. But this is really good. I would definitely make this again. I'm not sure what tweaks I might make. The cherry could maybe pop a little bit more outside of the chunks of cherry. I definitely would quarter them next time just so that they're smaller bits and pieces so that they can disperse in there a little bit more. But, overall, this one, very good. Definitely a remake. Gonna make some changes, but as far as just the base of everything, nothing's gonna change there. Anyway, hope you all have a great week and a good Valentine's Day, and we'll see you next time. Bye!